Okay, right. Now we're going to focus on actually styling the page, styling the text, because it doesn't look like it's complete yet. The easiest way to do styling is to start off with going to modify and page properties, because you can set some like general overall styling for anything that might not have any specific other styling like headings and so on. So we can see here we've got house style being specified here. So remember, the house style is like the overall branding in terms of color and look and all of that. And we've got to make sure we actually apply this. So it says here background color should be pale green and the text color should be dark green. So let's go ahead and change the background color. You go to modify and then page properties. And then you can change the background color here. Now it says pale green, so just go ahead and pick a pale green looking color for now. And then if you don't think it's right, then we can just adjust it later. So that looks like a pale green. I'm just going to choose that one. And then it said the text should be dark green, didn't it? So dark green, let's just go for that one. So you can actually see the green. There you go. If you want to change the font now, you can go ahead and do that. It doesn't say you have to, but I think I just want a different font. So I'm going to choose this family of fonts here, Verdana, Geneva, and Sans Serif. That's fine. I don't want to embold. I don't want to make italic. I might set some default size now. Let me just set size 14 for now, and that's it. I don't want to do anything else. I'm just going to click OK. And that's what it looks like at the moment. So that's all right. I'm okay with that. It's got yeah, the lightish green background, and you can see the color of the text. You can read the text. There is enough contrast, I think. So that's all right. I'm going to leave it like that. What I'm going to do now is quickly switch to split view. Split view now will show you what's happening in the background. You can see lots of HTML script that might look a bit confusing, but a lot of it should be quite familiar to you because we already covered HTML. Right, so let's have a look here. All right, one of the first things then is body that I'm going to point out. And inside body, you can see that we've got a table that was inserted. And that table goes all the way up to there. So remember, anything that's opened, an open tag, it has to be closed. So the table ends here. So it's not too difficult to actually understand because, I mean, a lot of it is familiar or should be familiar to you in terms of the syntax of how HTML is written. And obviously you can read English. So we can see what, width is, an image source that's coming in. We learned that width again, height, the alt text should be familiar to you now because that, dialog box came up. And then you've got some other things going on. The only thing I'll point out to you, you don't need to know this because we're going to be using a simple table, and you won't really need to edit it above during the merge cells, and that's it. But here you've got TR, that just means table row, and close TR, that means that's the end of the first row. So that's why you've got. Let me just zoom this out a bit here so you can actually see this a bit better. Let me go back to 66%. Here we go. So let me go back up here again. So if I select the first table row, then that selects all of that. So the second table row starts there and ends there is kind of that, because that was included, wasn't it? So it's kind of that, and so on. So you've got TR, which is just table row, and then you've got TD, which is just table data, just for your information. And then you've got some other bits of information, which I'm sure you'll be able to suss out. But anyways, like I said, the task itself will just require you to probably just insert a table and just merge a couple of cells, and then that's it. You don't need to really edit anything else about this again, okay? So that's that data there. Well, I'll also point out inside the head tag, so you've got head and then close head, you've got style. And now style has been put in because I went to page properties and I set the background color, and I also set the default text for the page. Now this styling here is known as CSS styling, okay? It's not in a separate file. For this task, it's fine to just have it embedded within the actual file itself. And this is just saying that anything inside the body tag will have that background color. Any text inside the body or table data or whatever will have this font style, and then you can actually go ahead and write your own CSS if you wanted to, or we can just see it in action and happening when we're doing some styling here. So let me actually get on and do some styling, and I'm just going to leave this here so you can actually see what's changing about it. I've also noticed that the title is still untitled document, so that means when you double click on the file, it will actually load in the browser, and it will have an untitled document text in the tab. Let me actually show you that now. Let me minimize this and go to the website folder and double click on schedule. When you double click on the file, it opens in a browser. So there you go. That's what a web page looks like at the moment. Why isn't the background what it should be? I'll sort that out in a second. But anyway, you can see here it says untitled document. Untitled document, and that's not what we want. We would prefer it if it actually said schedule. So you can actually just sort that out now. So you can just do that, schedule. I can't spell today again. Right, lovely. There we go, schedule. So that's now going to be called schedule. I'll also point out, actually, before I move on to the actual styling, you've got color here being specified for the text as 060. You may remember us learning a little bit about RGB colors. So every color in the computer world is made up of a bit of red, a bit of green, and a bit of blue, or an amount of any of those colors. In this case, it has 0 red and it has 0 blue, but it has some green. The numbers can be 0 to 9, and the letters go from A to F. So you might see a mixture of numbers and letters in some cases. So you can see here the background color is hashtag 66FF99 or 6F9 because it just collapses double digits or double figures or letters. If for whatever reason you don't like the background color or whatever color, you can actually try to change the colors by using maybe a reserved name. But what I mean by that is like red, green, yellow, pale blue, dark blue. So there are actually like 200, 300 names of colors that actually work. Let me just show you how easy it is to actually edit it. So if you couldn't find the color in the color picker, say for example, you don't like this pale green, you can actually go ahead and change it from here. And I'm actually going to let me just change the green first. That's actually a reserved color name. It's, you know, one of the obvious colors. That's terrible. That doesn't work at all, does it? Let me try pale yellow. That probably exists. Pale yellow. Oh, it doesn't. Oh, sorry, pale green. Beg your pardon. It was pale green, wasn't it? Pale green. If I spell it right, that would be much better. Here we go. Pale green. And pale green, that's looking a bit better than what it was before. Before it was a bit too minty. Now it's fine. So there you go. So some colors you can probably guess the names of. Normally pale, dark, medium before the name of the color, it usually works. Don't be worried too much as to, you know, whether you would remember the names or not. It normally gives you a color that probably is the name of the color anyway. So dark green would also work fine for the text. Let me go ahead and do that here. So no need for speech marks, just make sure that the name is one word, likely is just one word, and that kind of has left it the same anyway, you can see. So yeah, so you can either have the hexadecimal color codes, or you can just have the names of the actual color. All right, let's go ahead and actually start doing some styling. So I would strongly advise just using heading tags, and this is why. If I highlight the first chunk of text there, that's the title. Down here where you've got HTML, next to it you've got format. I would format that to heading 1, and that seems fine. I'm happy with that. I do actually want it centered, so I can actually center that in a number of ways. One thing you can do is like right click and you can do align and you can center. That's one way you can do that. As soon as I did that, you might notice that this happened. Center appeared within H1. Schedule, I'm going to make heading 2. That's fine. I'm happy with that. So you can see that heading 2 tag has now been wrapped around schedule. Again, I would like that centered. So you can just right click and center that way. If I just go to normal design view so you can see what it's looking like now. Okay, you can actually click on the cell, and I think you can have like different options appearing at the bottom. So just like keep being aware of what's going on as you're doing your practice, so you can adjust things and probably figure things out for yourself. These links on the side, I mean, they're quite important as well. I might try heading 3 for them. So heading 3 is fine. So that seems quite suitable. Heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3. And then for this main text here, I think I'm happy with it. So I think I'm going to leave it. I don't know, actually, maybe for the days I might have something separate or whatever, maybe H4. But for now, I'm just going to leave it because I'm more concerned about this layout. I don't think it's very tidy. It's a bit difficult to read, so we need to sort out this layout. When you've got information that's, you know, like a key and a value, so you've got like Saturday, and then information relating for the walk happening on Saturday and Sunday, and then information relating to the walk happening on Sunday and so on. It's better to have it in table format. So yes, we're going to have a table inside a table. Okay, so so currently, let me just go to live view. This is what it looks like when it's going to be in a browser. So you can see the borders here, lovely. Let me uncheck live view, unclick live view, and then go back here. And I want to insert a table inside this particular cell here. Same way, insert table, and then you would decide the number of rows and columns. So let's actually figure out how many rows and columns that we need. So how many days do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days. So we need 9 rows at least. And then I'm just going to have 2 columns, 9 rows and 2 columns. So insert table, 9 rows and 2 columns. The width of it is not going to be 800 because that's going to be, you know, from my full here to here. So I'm going to make it about maybe 400 for now. Let me just make it 400. You can always change it after anyway, and then just click OK. And there's my table ready to have information put in. So all you simply do is then, take the information from either the Word document if you haven't put it in yet, or just take it from here if you already copied and pasted it, and then just like drag it up there for now. Let me just pause it and do. Okay, and then the last chunk of information to go in. There we go. That's that now. Okay, so lovely. So you've got some extra spaces here. Just make sure you get rid of them. You don't need them. It can go. There we go. That's fine. You might feel I might actually benefit from having a heading on top of this column and that column. So you can go ahead and do that. You can go to table, and then you can insert row, insert column, and all sorts of everything. So I'm just going to go ahead and insert row. And then I'm just going to type for the column heading, day, not date, day, and then maybe walk details or something like that. Okay. You probably won't need to have more than 2 columns because you can see here you've got like 3 different sets of information in a couple of cases. It would just like add up extra space. So I don't think you necessarily need to have a 3rd column. I think it's fine as it is here. There we go. So that's kind of sorted itself out there. Let's see what that's looking like in live view. There we go. That's okay. That's fine. I might need to make these bold. So I can do that by highlighting the text there and then just making them bold from here. I don't actually like the table borders around this table here. So I'm actually going to get rid of the table borders. So how you can do that is click on the table. And then here at the bottom, you've got its properties that appear. And I'm just going to change the border value to 0. There we go. So you can still actually see some dotted lines, but if you go to live view, it's gone now. So I don't know. I think that might be a bit better. If there's anything else that you think might need to change, then you go ahead and you change this now. For example, you can change the position of the content of each of the cells to like top, middle, or bottom. So you can see here, you've got the links in the middle of the cell. I actually don't want that. I want it to be kind of more towards near the top. So what you can do is just click in the cell, and then here at the bottom in properties, you've got horizontal alignment and vertical alignment. So the vertical alignment, I want it to change to top. And then what I'm going to do just before homepage, just hit enter a couple of times, and then that, or just once might be enough. And that's a bit better for me. So I wanted it to stay here at the top where I can just see it. Okay, so that's looking better. That's looking fine. If you do switch to your split view now, obviously it's increased in terms of, you know, the code, the script that it's got. We have a table inside a table now. So you'll see a lot more code. Don't get scared of it. Just take your time and just read it carefully and figure things out if you do need to figure things out. A question may well ask you something like highlight the code or highlight the script in your HTML document where the logo has been inserted or something like that. So you need to be able to identify things in your actual HTML script. So make sure you're actually not afraid of HTML. You do actually recognize what a lot of it actually means and says. Again, if you have any questions, just make sure you ask. Right, I think we are nearly done. We've just done some formatting there. In the next video, I'm going to talk about more specific overall formatting and then linking, and then that will be the end of this task.